Hello, thank you for tuning in. You are in the right place to learn and improve your skills. I have 20 plus years of experience in IT from developer to director level with hands-on to deliver the high quality of code always focused on. If you look at my screen here, so you can actually see the part two. We are going to focus on part two today. The part one, you need to watch before watching part two. The number two mentioned here in the part two in the YouTube video. Please go to this YouTube video and watch part one before watching part two. And also here, the section one, I actually recorded how you can actually set up your Visual Studio Code to do a development work on Python. And this video also talks about some of the unit test framework that is nice to have and good to learn as well. Let's jump on to Visual Studio Code. So in part one, we actually talked about how you can generate the code using an AI agent. So we talked about a simple code. So how you can actually generate the hello world code by using the AI agent, how you can instruct the AI agent to develop the code. And also we developed using AI agent help through the prompting, provide the detail level code using some of the object-oriented level. Let's look at both of them and how we can enhance for the story we are going to tell the agent, how the code has to be developed with the value it's going to be added. Let's get the prompt. Yesterday, when we actually asked the agent to create the code, we provided certain kind of prompt. If you look at this one has try catch block error, and it has printing into the console the statement. Let's do one thing. Let's create one more file, Python file. Let's call that as hello world 2.py. Instead, let's actually create one new file. Let's call this as hello world 3. You can name it whatever. I'm just actually coming with some simple names. So here, if we look at, we are going to actually ask to generate using the option control I. So we are going to provide the context, which is a prompt. So I already have some prompt prepared. If you look at this, we gave this prompt yesterday. Generate a Python hello world program that includes a main class to execute the program. Try except finally blocks to handle the errors gracefully. Proper logging or printing in case of exceptions. We said that when we generated hello world 2. Let's change this one. Instead of or, let's say and. So then we said maintain the clean and readable code. Between this prompt and the other prompt, which is world 2, the difference is we just adding and. Let's generate the code and let's see the difference. It generated the code. Let's keep the code. So the code actually we generated today in hello world Python file. Look at the hello world 2 Python file. This file doesn't have any concept of logging information. This file, it has concept of logging information. It added the new code to log. It is actually logging as well as printing. See, you need to understand the whole code is exactly the same, but just we changed the prompt from or to and, it added both printing as well as logging. So you need to understand the long term. When you push this code into the production environment, when the developer is not in the production environment, when the support people are going to support in the production environment, so how they are going to see what is happening? Either they have to go to the console, wherever this program is running, right, on the console to watch. Instead, you can have a logger. This logger, you can put the logger into the file or into the table. The support people can actually do some kind of dashboarding and reporting or some kind of validation through ticketing through the service now. This is the long-term value adds for the product as well as the people who supports this. Let's run both of them and you will see the difference, right? So let's go to the terminal, open a new terminal. Clear the screen. To look at the directory, I have an environment. So let's look at the directory. I'm going to src. So here we added hello world 2 and hello world 3. Hello world 2 was actually in part 1. Hello world 3 we just added. Let's actually update. Let's run the hello world 2 because this is the one yesterday's one. So when you run this hello world 2, you have seen this in the part 1. It says hello world, its execution completed, program finished. Let's go here. So if you look at this one, this is calling the main, and main itself calls the display message. Here is the display message. Here is the message setup. Hello world Python program. This is the message you are getting. And it says execution completed. It's the execution completed finally. And also it says the program is completed under this final. It is working perfectly all right. So no issues on this one. But to make your program much better and better, thinking 360-degree bandwidth, standing in everyone's shoes, like a support person, or in the future, whoever the developer, someone is going to enhance this code further, right? So let's run hello world 3. You see the difference. Let's keep both and let's run the hello world 3. So when you run the hello world 3, see the difference. The previous one, when you run the hello world 2, this one, it was giving you information about these things. Now it is giving you more information, like the program executed successfully and something about the information, everything. So these information, whether it's an error or the exception, you can actually push them into the log, right? So that way, if you build a logger, it will be very helpful to capture the information in the production environment. If something is going wrong, it's going to be much easier way to debug and further. So let's look at other one. Yesterday, in the part 1, yesterday means in the previous video, part 1 video, we actually developed asking the agent to create the code using the prompt for this one. Let's actually look at that prompt, how we provided the prompt, which generated this whole thing, right? And how we are going to ask the prompt to do a little bit different. Let's quickly look at it. Now let's create another file similar to this, the way we provided the prompt, and let's change that prompt a little bit. Let's actually copy the name of this file and let's create a new file under this. Same one, we will call it as 1.py. Now it is asking whether I want to generate the code. Let's say I'm going to generate the code. So I'm going to paste the prompt, the one actually yesterday we provided the prompt. So in the part 1. So in the part 1, if you look at here, we said proper logging and printing in case of exception. We did not actually force the agent you need to develop in such a way that let's actually add a new prompt. Let's add a new prompt and we will see the difference. See, compared to the part 1, the additional things we are requesting here is also make sure proper logging and printing in case of exception. That's the additional context we are providing to the agent, how the agent can generate the code. Let's see the difference. Let's actually generate the code. Now you see, so this one generated adding some logging information as well, the way you have seen hello world 3. Let's keep this code and we can compare this. Let's close this. So this is the one just created, the 1.py. We added number 1 at the end. Look at this one. It added import logging and it added some of the additional information required for the logging, right? So where you can maintain this in the production environment or any higher environment where a developer, they don't have access, for others to maintain without any issues. Let's actually clear this screen and check this one. This is the one developed in the part 1. In the part 1, there is no logging mechanism here. Only what it does is if something goes wrong, it actually just prints it. But this one has more information. It is actually create the logging. You can push into the file, you can push into the table, and it added additional methods where not only for printing and print as well as log. What we said, print and log, both we said that. So let's run both of them and you will actually see the difference. Let's run. This is the one, this is the part 1 developed before. So it's asking us the same thing. Okay, you want me to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit? I say yes. Okay, Celsius is 30 degree. The Fahrenheit, it shows 86 degree. So I say 2 and Fahrenheit is 80 degree and it converts into Celsius. And let's say I give 1 and always they expect number, right? I will give some ABCD. It says, please enter. It's an error. It says, please enter a valid number. Let's see what actually it does when we run the other one with the logging information one. So here I will just again provide some value to get out. So now it says 90 degrees centigrade is 194. It's impossible, right? So number 3, exit. Let's clear this. So now let's run the other one. The one we just created with the logging options. So it comes with the same asking the question input. So I'm going to enter the Celsius. The Celsius is 30 degree. It gives me 86. And the Fahrenheit is number 2. I will say 65 degree and it will give me the centigrade. So I will go again 1 and I will provide instead of something, I'll provide some characters. I am supposed to provide the numbers. So now it says, look here, the value error could not be converting the string into float. So this is the printing error. So now you are capturing the message. If it is an error, if it is something, you can capture more detail and you can display that more detailed one. Let's say number 2. I'll go with number 2. The Fahrenheit, number -99. So now it says that number 999, the temperature cannot be below absolute 0. It gives you a very clear picture. So that's way you will actually see a lot of value. Look at this both code. Both codes are generated in the object-oriented way. This also generated object-oriented using the class and also adding some static method, class method, and using the try-catch exception blocks. Everything is beautiful. So if you look at the 360-degree view in the longer run, you can actually look at how you can make your code more cleaner, more quality-oriented, the scalability and enhanceability and maintainability. Those are the one adds value for the longer run. Thank you for watching the video, and I'm going to generate more beautiful videos and more beautiful way to generate the code, instructing the agent. And also look at one more thing, just generate the code, don't submit the code directly into the repo. Validate the code, do the couple of running and make sure. Also, I'm going to build a lot of unit testing on top of this. Then you will understand more and more how your code is going to be untouchable and more valued and more quality oriented. It's not a code you're developing. It's going to be a gem. It's going to be more valued, more